Okay, so this is the video I shouldn't have to make. I really shouldn't have to make this video because we should all already know this, and I think we all already know this, but yet I still have to make this video. And here's the weird thing is I'm not just making it for you, I'm really making it for myself to remind myself of this one basic truth. If you want something in your life to change, if you want your life to change, you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to change. Okay, let me say that again. If you want something in your life to change, you've got to be willing to change. And that's really a problem when you get stuck in life is you don't want to change. Even if your life sucks, even if your life is terrible, sometimes it's scary to leave the comfort of what you know to step out into something and try something that you're not familiar with. And often what happens is we resist change, even when it would make our life better. So this video is all about what do we need to do to change our lives by changing ourselves. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom, and today we're talking about real change that needs to happen in our lives. Now, all of us have something in our lives that need to change. Maybe like me, you're about 20 pounds overweight or more, and maybe your relationships aren't going so well, or you hate your job, or you're not sure what you want to do with your life, or whatever. There's got to be some things in your life that need to improve. Well, today we're talking about owning the responsibility for your own life and deciding that I want my life to change. I've got to be willing to make changes. I got to be willing to make sacrifices I haven't been willing to make yet. I've got to be willing to try something that I've been afraid. Fear has been keeping me from stepping out there and trying something. I don't want to fail. It might be too difficult. It might be too much work. Whatever it is, today we're talking about hope. There is hope to make changes in your life as soon as you start looking at yourself instead of looking at all your circumstances and waiting for everything in your world to change or waiting for all the people in your life to change. When you take responsibility for yourself and for your life, it's difficult because now you're owning your problem, but it's when you own your problem that you start to really move toward real life transformation and real change. And we're going to look at 3 essential steps necessary in order to solve this problem and get in front of it so that we can change our lives. Okay, the first thing we want to say about change is when you change your mindset, you really start to change your reality. Now, I know there's a lot of information on mindset and positive mindset and growth mindset and all that kind of stuff. Basically, here's the idea. The way you think about things affects how you think about things. If you only see problems and obstacles and all the things you don't like in your relationship and everything that's wrong at work. And when you focus on what's wrong, you're going to feel like there's a lot of things that are wrong. When you focus your attention on how it's not fair for you and how everybody else has an advantage, what are you going to see? You're going to see evidence of that. But when you start to own your space and choose to change your mindset to rather see, what can I do right now? Think about that question. What could I do right now to start moving toward what I want? What could I do right now to start to move toward a better, healthy body? What could I do right now to start to build the kind of marriage or the kind of relationship I want? When you start to see possibilities rather than just problems, everything begins to shift and everything begins to change. So some people might go as far as to say your thoughts create reality. Let's soften that just a little bit to something I think all of us can agree on. Your thoughts, at least certainly, affect the way you see reality. And when you start to shift your thinking just a little bit to see what could be or what might be or what is possible, you start to see a new path in front of you. What can I do right now to change my circumstances? Okay, the second step that we're going to have to take is realizing that real growth and real change and real transformation always feels awkward. It always feels painful. It's never going to feel great. Okay, think about losing weight. Nothing about that is fun. Nothing about that feels good. To deprive yourself of ice cream and cake and soda and chips and to choose rather broccoli and carrots to make yourself get up and walk. Yeah, you're going to feel a lot better like in the process, but in the moment, in the right now, when everybody else is enjoying pizza and you're not, it feels very uncomfortable. It feels very painful. To make yourself sit at your desk and do your work when you want to go outside and play, to make yourself have that difficult conversation with somebody you care about, none of that feels good. Real growth always feels awkward. You ever try to learn to play an instrument? You ever try to speak a foreign language? How do you feel? You ever try to roller skate? When you first learned how to do these things, how does it feel? It feels awkward. It feels embarrassing. It feels uncomfortable. Why? Because it's pulling you out of your comfort zone. And it never feels good to be pulled out of what's comfortable. And so you got to face the reality that if real change is going to happen in my life, it's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to like it. There's a part of me that's going to resist the very thing that's going to cure me or heal my problems or fix my problems. I'm going to resist it. You got to know this about yourself. Okay, and the third thing that we got to be clear on, and this one has the most power to really change your life. The third thing is you have to own your own life. You have to be responsible for you. Look, sometimes what happens is we start looking at our problems and our circumstances and the people in life we're trying to relate to, and we think, if only things were different, if only they would stop doing this, if only my circumstances would change. Here's the reality is we can't change other people. It's hard enough to change yourself. Stop trying to change other people and then realize like I can't just wait. I can't just sit out on a hill all the time and wait for the sky to open and for the plan to just be dropped down from heaven to tell me what to do. I have to take advantage of the opportunities in front of me, and I have to start moving forward. I have to start with making a decision that I want to be the kind of person that's moving forward in life, that's moving towards some goals in life, that's working on improving things in my life. You have to take responsibility for your own space. You know, you can blame your parents for the first, 12 years because of how ugly you are, but at some point you have to just own your own face. You have to own your face. This is the face I have. What can I do to improve this face? I can't just blame mom and dad for the rest of my life. I got to start owning my own life. I got to decide that I have a right to show up in this world and I have a right to make some changes in this world. And if there's something in my life I don't like, I need to own my calendar again. I need to own my to-do list again. I need to take responsibility for what is mine to change. There are some things in life you can't change, but there's a lot of things about life that are within your right to change. So, we got to accept the fact that I have to own my own space and I have a right to show up to fully move toward what I want in life and what I believe God's calling me to do in life. When you stop waiting for somebody else to tell you it's okay or for somebody else to tell you what to do and you own responsibility for your own life, that's when real change starts to happen in your life. You got to do it. Okay, so what are we saying in this video? All right, let's summarize it. It's really simple. If you want your life to change, you have to be willing to change. I know it's so stupid, I shouldn't even have to say it, but I have to tell myself this. Look, I'm making this video for me, guys. I hope you benefit from it, but the videos I make, I'm trying to tell myself a message that I need to reinforce. In fact, it's so good, I'm not even going to look at you right now. I'm going to look at my notes because I want to say it perfectly. I have it written perfectly, and I don't want to mess it up. I need to hear this. Here's the bottom line. If you want your life to change, you have to be willing to change. No one else can do it for you. No external event will magically fix everything. So you got to quit waiting for that. You got to quit waiting for the magical event. You know, the Christmas fairies are going to come in and sprinkle pixie dust on everything, and it's all going to be better. And my finances are suddenly going to improve. They're not. They're not going to improve unless you do something. And it's going to require change. And you're the one resisting the change. I want my life to change. Do you really? Do you really want it to change? Then you have to change. I have to change. The change you want to see in your life starts with the changes you make in yourself. And the first one is to change the way we think. To change from just seeing problems and negativity to seeing possibilities. I'm an Enneagram 7. I need to remind myself of this, and I certainly need to remind you guys of this. It's not easy. It takes effort, persistence, and the willingness to face discomfort. And let's admit it, some of us, we don't want any discomfort in our lives. We want our lives to be comfortable. Look, if you decide to live in constant comfort, you're never going to be comfortable. Think about it. Let it blow your mind for a second. If your goal is to constantly live in comfort, you are never going to live a life that's comfortable. Think about it. Okay, the good news is once you make this decision to change, the momentum starts to build and you become unstoppable. I want to believe it. Okay. I do. So what's the next step for you? Well, that's what you got to decide. Maybe you need to get away and withdraw for a little bit. Maybe you need to sit out under the oak tree next to the pond and you need to reflect a little bit and say, what areas of my life could use a little improvement? Think about your marriage or your significant relationship. Think about your relationship with your family or your community, your friendships. Think about work, your personal growth, your spiritual life. I mean, there's a lot of places you could start. Your hobbies and interests, your recreation, your physical health. I mean, there's all kinds of areas in your life, and give a little bit of attention to these for a minute. Stop back, come back for just a second, try to get a broad view and say, where could my life improve? I don't need to change everything at once, but I do need to be willing to face the reality. You know, part of bringing change in your life is you have to face reality. You can't deny reality and pretend like things aren't the way they are. You got to face reality and then say, what could I do right now to start moving a positive step, couple of places in my life? You could end up with a list of 10 things, but you got to start somewhere. And you already have. Just by watching this video and making it to this point, you've already started this process. So let's push just a little bit further and let's start to take some action. One of the things you can do is like the video, subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of great content that's challenging and comforting and encouraging. Let's work together on this. We're going to take it step by step, and I'm here for you, and I think you're there for others, and we're all going to do this together. All right, so be present to life. I'll see you next time.